Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Nitai Gaura Haribo, 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 Gaura Haribo. Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada, Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada. Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada, Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada. Down Shiva, Pramsa, Vrara Chacharya, Astadara Sata Shishma, Chetan Goswami Sankhe, Sesi Bhaktivedanta, Swami Prabhupada ki jai. Hare Krishna. We have a problem. You don't understand English.
Okay. Du kommer inte att stanna. Okej.
Men jag skulle kunna översätta.
Översätta, ja, exakt. Ja.
You want to see in the back? Translate?
Yeah.
Simultaneous translation?
I will try.
Yeah. Okay.
It's my little Sarah. I will listen to you.
Okay. Anyone else who will need translation? You can announce. Är det någon annan som behöver översättning? Det är okej med engelska? Ja.
Jag översätter till honom.
You also?
Om det blir problem.
You translate?
Yeah.
Why not just one translator instead of two translators?
She doesn't speak Russian.
Ah, wow, such an international group here. Thank you for inviting me to come back.
Thank you for
I was here, what, was it 1 month ago?
1 month ago.
I like it so much, I came back.
Thank you, it's a pleasure.
I spent actually 2 years here in Malmö. I was in charge of the preaching center in Malmö for 2 years.
I asked little devotees and
96 to 98.
Emma, we do not have a microphone.
yes, we can have it. And I can close the door here.
Thank you.
Aha, there we are.
Can you take microphone? I can drink the water.
Yeah.
You need a book for the translation and purport.
I don't have a Russian one with me here, so I can take it.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Really? You are translating to what language?
No, hon förstår ganska bra engelska.
Hon förstår? Okej, bra.
Men om
Jättebra.
hon inte förstår, då ska jag...
Det ska jag fråga.
Ja,
Annars jag kan prata kinesiska.
ja okej.
Det är ingen som förstår. So we read Bhagavad Gita, Transcendental Knowledge, chapter 4, text 11. Today's topic is God biased? Is God being partial? Or is he impartial? You can hear?
We can speak a little louder, please.
I can speak a little louder. Okay.
Uh-huh. Okay.
Right. I speak louder. So I'll just read the Sanskrit and the translation. Yatamam prapadyante tam sataiva vajamyaham Mamadvatmadvatante manusya padasa vatsa. Translation. As all surrender unto me, I reward them accordingly. Everyone follows my path in all respects, O son of Prita. Purport by His Divine Grace Srila Prabhupada. Everyone is searching for Krishna in the different aspects of his manifestations. Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, is partially realized in his impersonal Brahmajyoti effulgence and as the all-pervading Super Soul dwelling within everything, including the particles of atoms. Krishna is object of everyone's realization, and thus anyone and everyone is satisfied according to one's desire to have him. In the transcendental world also, Krishna reciprocates with his pure devotees in the transcendental attitude, just as the devotees want him. One devotee may want Krishna as a supreme master, another as his personal friend, another as his son, and still another as his lover. Krishna rewards all the devotees equally, according to their different intensities of love for him. In the material world, the same reciprocation of feelings are there, and they are equally exchanged by the Lord with the different types of worshippers. The pure devotees, both here and in the transcendental abode, associate with him in person and are able to render personal service to the Lord, and thus derive transcendental bliss in his loving service. As for those who are impersonalists and who want to commit spiritual suicide by annihilating the individual existence of the living entity, Krishna helps also by absorbing them into his effulgence. Such impersonalists do not agree to accept the eternal blissful personality of Godhead. Consequently, they cannot relish the bliss of transcendental personal service to the Lord, having extinguished their individuality. Some of them who are not firmly situated, even in the impersonal existence, return to this material field to exhibit their dormant desires for activities. They are not admitted into the spiritual planets, but they are again given a chance to act on the material planets. For those who are fruitive workers, the Lord awards the desired results of their prescribed duties as a Yogeshwara, and those who are yogis seeking mystic powers are awarded such powers. In other words, everyone is dependent for success upon his mercy alone, and all kinds of spiritual processes are but different degrees of success on the same path. Unless, therefore, one comes to the highest perfection of Krishna consciousness, all attempts remain imperfect, as is stated in Srimad Bhagavatam. Akama sawa kamova moksha kama udaradi tirena bhakti yogena yojate purusha param. Whether one is without desire, the condition of the devotees, or is desirous of all fruitive results, or is after liberation, one should with all efforts try to worship the Supreme Personality of Godhead for complete perfection, culminating in Krishna consciousness. Yata mam prajatpajante tam tataiva bhajamyaham mama vatma vatante manusya pata savasa. as all surrender unto me. I reward them accordingly. Everyone follows my path in all respects. O son of Prita. Om Agyanatimirandasya Gananjana Salakaya Sakchumilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha. Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prasayaptale Srimati Japtaka Swami Niti Namne Nama Chaya Padaya Nitai Kripa Padayini Gaura Kata Damadaya Nagara Karma Tarini. Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prasayaptale Srimati Bhakti Vedanta Swami Niti Namne Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Pracharine Nivishesha Sunyavadi Passaja Deshatarine. So sometimes people they claim that they know God. And there are so many ideas going around of what God is and what God is not. But Krishna is clearly stated here, to know Him is not very easy. Can you hear? Maybe come closer.
Yeah.
Maybe you can see there.
There, you can see there.
Yeah, okay, that's a good place.
Yeah.
Thank you.
So, it's not easy to know Krishna because when we are conditioned in the material world, having lived in the material world after so many lifetimes, going through so many different seasons, we are very much absorbed or conditioned by the material way of life. And also, according to our upbringing, the family we are born into, the society we live in, also further conditions us. Therefore, even as devotees, when we approach Krishna, we try to understand Krishna according to the understanding based on our upbringing. For example, in the Western world, very often we try to understand Krishna according to our Christian background, our Jewish background. Then in India, then according to their Indian tradition, depending on which part of India they're from. In Asia, they will try to understand it according to the Confucian or Buddhist upbringing. That is why in other religions, for example in Buddhism, when Buddhism spread from India to the east, from the west to, that India is considered west, to the east, to China for example, as it spread amongst the citizens in China, people who have been practicing Confucian for a long time, and the ancient Chinese culture, because Chinese culture is similar as long, historians say it's been like 5,000 years, unbroken. In India, it was interrupted by the British for a few hundred years, but China has been uninterrupted, the Chinese culture. So it's a very, very strong culture. So when Buddhism came, a lot of the culture, the tradition become mixed into Buddhism. And when he went to Japan, then the Japanese culture, way of life become mixed into Buddhism. Went to Thailand, Sri Lanka mixed in. That's how you see Buddhism in different countries are slightly different, the way they practice. And also, you can't differentiate what is actually Buddhist teaching, what is Confucius teaching, what is Chinese culture. It's all been mixed like hodgepodge, like a masala, all mixed up. So similarly, we also try to do that. Son? Yeah. So we also, because of our condition, we try to understand Krishna in that way. One very good example was back in the early 1980s. our temple president in consciousness, the one who brought Krishna consciousness to Sweden. It was Ajit and Vegavan. So they were very much into interfaith discussion and intellectual discussion. So one time Vegavan was invited by the Church of Sweden to like a seminar, like a discussion. And the different religion have the representatives sent there to take part. So the topic was to understand God, who is God. And they started out very nicely. In the beginning, the premise of the understanding was that God is a person. Then they started discussing, everyone was giving their viewpoint, and then some was saying, but God is everywhere. Others are saying, no, God is also in your heart. So as the discussion continues, they're becoming more and more confused. If God is everywhere, and God is in everyone's heart, that means it's fragmented. It's one part of Him in each heart. So how can He be a person? So they started with God as a person. The conclusion was that God is not a person. He cannot be a person because He's everywhere. So again, he said we are conditioning, based on our condition, that if something is everywhere, then He cannot be one person because He's all spread everywhere. And in the Ishopanishad, it's also described that God is very far away and at the same time is very near. He does not run, but at the same time He can run very fast. So all this contradiction. So therefore, with our understanding, we cannot understand Krishna through our material senses and material mind, because it's very, very limited. Because our experiences, our perception is all within the material realm. Krishna is beyond the material realm. So based on material understanding and logic, you cannot understand Krishna because He's beyond the understanding of material senses and the mind. So that is the reason why there's so many different religions came up, become sprouted. And all have different viewpoint. And all have different view, but very limited view. So in this way, people approach Krishna or approach God in so many different ways, directly and indirectly. As Krishna says in the purport, that everyone actually follow His path. Some know it, some don't know it. Because how can we actually avoid God? How can we avoid Krishna? Aham savasya prabhavo savam pravatet matate. Iti matva bhajante amam buddha bhava sabandhuta. That I am the source of both the spiritual and the material world. So even if we want to follow the materialistic path, it is still within the energy of Krishna, in His external energy, through His external energy. But the result is very different. So as you surrender to me, Krishna say, you reward accordingly. That's why people sometimes say they don't understand. If there's a God, why are they suffering in this world? And why is God being partial to someone and not to another? Why is giving someone, like this guy, they are really rascals, they're cheaters, but they are given so much wealth, so much opulence, so much facility. Whereas this person is a very kind person and he can't even make ends meet, he's struggling to maintain his family. And the children, why are the children just dying from starvation? And why are these children dying from wars and civil war? What have they done? They're all innocent children. So that's a material perception. But with a deeper understanding, we know from the law of about reincarnation, this is not the whole life. They had a previous life, which they may not be so innocent. In the previous life, they may not be so innocent. Therefore, they take birth now to suffer the reactions of the karma. Can I move on? Yeah. I think it's okay. It's okay. It's falling over?
Yes.
Okay. So this is a problem when we try to understand God through all these material conception. Very, very difficult. So generally, people, when they're okay, like Western countries, they have a lot of opulences, a lot of facility. God is the furthest thing from their mind. They think they don't need God. By my power, by my intellect, if we push this further in, then you'll be okay. Now here.
This.
Yep.
It is okay.
Hare Krishna, an old friend came in. How are you? Haribol. Yeah. So, they think they don't need God. But sometimes when people are distressed, then they turn to God. When people are suffering, they turn to God. There's a Chinese saying even that unless you have problem, unless you need something, you don't worship God. Now the Chinese, like the Indians also, they go to different temple, worship different devas for different purposes. When it's exam time, when there's someone in the family, children have an exam, the worship of Saraswati is very popular because she's the goddess of learning. Young girls, they worship Uma or Parvati for the good husband. And in some people home, almost every Indian home, they have Ganesh, who is removing all obstacles and also provide opulences and wealth and good fortune. In some family, they have a picture or altar near the entrance. Before they go to work, before they go to the office, before they step out the door, they will Om Lakshmi, Lakshmi, Om Lakshmi, Lakshmi. They worship Lakshmi Devi, the goddess of fortune. But what they do not realize is that when you worship Lakshmi without Narayan, one name of Lakshmi is Chanchala. He is unsteady. She doesn't stay too long in one place. So she may come and bless the home by her presence, and because she's blessed, she also live. So the fortune go up and down. But she never leave the chest of Narayan, her husband. Therefore, we worship Lakshmi Narayan. So when you have Lakshmi and Narayan in the home, Lakshmi will always stay there. Wherever is Narayan, there's always Lakshmi. But when you worship Lakshmi alone, then your wealth is unstable. So when people are suffering, they turn to God. Therefore, in Bhagavad Gita, Krishna said, there are 4 kinds of people who comes to me. Those who are in distress. They're really suffering. And that's what happened to a lot of the, in the 60s and 70s, the hippie movement. Right? Yeah, they're going through a lot of suffering. They tried all the hippie lifestyle. They rejected the family's values of just middle-aged Americans. They tried drugs, they tried free sex, they tried everything. They're not getting it. So they turn to spirituality and they may come to Krishna. They're distressed. Or they turn to Krishna for wealth. So, okay, maybe I worship Krishna. Actually, in India, you speak to Indian, you tell them the word Vishnu has become very scared. I say Vishnu, no. Worship Lord Shiva, okay. Ganesh, okay. Lakshmi, okay. Kali, all okay. Because Vishnu, another name of Vishnu is Hari. Hari means one who takes away. So when you worship Vishnu, he takes away your wealth. But you worship Shiva or Ganesh, then he give you wealth. But they don't understand the name Hari. Hari, he takes away. What does he take away? He takes away all inauspiciousness. He takes away what is inauspicious in our life. So sometimes we think of material possession to be auspicious. But that material possession can also be harmful. It can also be the anchor that locks us into this world, that prevents us from progressing spiritually. You want to progress, but we're too attached. And therefore, in the Srimad Bhagavatam, Queen Kunti in the prayers, he said that those who possess the four Aishwarya, the four opulences of beauty, wealth, good education, aristocratic family, good lineage, they can block someone on the path of devotion in the life. For people who are very, very beautiful, half of them will surrender Krishna. Why? Because they're so self-absorbed. Normally these people are very egoistic. Every morning in our temple, we do abhishek, we bathe the deities. We dress the deities in our new outfit. We put their nice jewelries on the body, decorate them very nice before they greet the devotees. But egoistic people, what they do? They do self-puja. They self-worship. Every morning, sometimes they shower, many times they don't shower. At least they wash their face, splash them, they brush their teeth, they stand in front of the mirror, and then they decorate themselves with the ladies, put on the makeup, and then they choose the outfit. Which outfit should I wear today? The man will be combing the hair, the mustache, trimming a little bit here and there. So every day we do self-worship. Instead of worshiping Krishna, we worship ourselves to look nice. Therefore, sometimes, very often people are very beautiful. They're so self-obsessed, it's very hard for them to surrender to Krishna. And those who are wealthy also, they think, I don't need God. Why do I need God for? By my own intellectual power, by my acute understanding of the market, of business acumen, I can become rich. Why do I need God for? That's another stumbling block. People who are rich, very rich. Or aristocratic family, they're so proud. Sometimes people who are born in a rich family or aristocratic family, they're very proud. They never have to work a day in their life. They just earn those wealth from their good karma. Or good education. They say, what are these illiterate doing? You should use your brain, have high education, have PhDs. Of course, you're not talking about PhDs. There are some intelligent PhDs too. Like our friend here. He has 3 PhDs.
Please.
Not just one, there are 3 PhDs. By surrendering to Krishna. But otherwise, they're too proud. They think they are so intellectual. They don't need. They will argue. So that's what Queen Kunti said. Sometimes these 4 are stumbling block. It's hard for people who have these opulences to surrender to Krishna. So people are distressed, people are searching for wealth, they turn to God. And even sometimes those people are inquisitive. They say, who are these devotees? Who are these Hare Krishna? They look pretty weird. They go and singing, dancing on the street. I mean, who goes singing, dancing on the street like that? Of course, nowadays, many times we go out on the street singing, we don't wear traditional Indian clothing. We wear just normal clothing, many devotees. But in the old days, we go out, we wear dhoti. Even in winter time, we go out like that. Singing with the ponytail in the back, shaved head, tilak. People think they're so weird. These people are so weird. Dressed in their bed sheets, flapping in the wind. Funny hairstyle. And then with this mocking, we decorate our face, but we decorate our eyelid, not on the forehead. They cannot understand. So sometimes they get inquisitive. But when I talk to them, they make a lot of sense. They don't sound crazy, very logical. So they become curious, they come and check it out. What is it about? And all the food, they're famous for the food, that tastes good, let me check it out. Long time ago, in the late 70s or early 80s, in Argentina, the police department, they sent 2 police undercover agents to the temple to check out on the Hare. Who are these people? Are they a danger to our country's security? Because sometimes, like when we first come to India, the politicians and people, they were afraid. These Americans, are they CIA agents? Even when Prabhupada met with Indira Gandhi, Prabhupada has assured her that they are not CIA agents. Look at them, look at their lifestyle. Would CIA agents live like that? Getting up 3:30 in the morning, performing such austerities, and then chanting Maha Mantra 16 rounds every day, and go out and so working so hard, eating just very little. So these 2 undercover agents live in the temple because they were pretending to be bhaktas. Then they have to follow the temple program. They wake up every morning to go for Mangrati. They chant every day. They do service in the temple. They take prasadam. They're vegetarian. And after a few months, they were not anymore a fake Hare Krishna. They became real Hare Krishna. They become so purified, they actually become Hare Krishna devotees. And then, of course, those who are searching for knowledge. They want to understand. There must be a God. They want to understand how to approach God, what is the process. We hear so many stories of devotees coming to practically at the end of their rope in their life. They're so frustrated, nothing is working for them. And in the night, out of frustration, they cry out, God, oh God, I don't know who you are. I don't know what you are. I don't know if there's a power out there. Please show me the way. And right the next day, they meet a devotee. We hear so many stories like that from all over the world. There was this one person. The next day he was on a telephone booth making a phone call. And then this devotee came knocking on the door. Please, hurry, I have an emergency call to make. And then they make contact and brought him to the temple, and he became a devotee. Others, they meet someone on the street and got a book. They say, this is exactly what I'm looking for. Now, very often when I was distributing books in Sweden before, sometimes I'm in the parking lot outside the post office, for example. A car would drive in, right? They park the car, I knock on the window, sell them a book, and they drive away. Like, why did they come there? They came there with a purpose, right? To perform some errand. But it's as if they come there just to buy a book and then they go home. Few times it happened to me like that. So therefore there are these 4 pious people who come to Krishna. But then there are 4 who will never surrender to Krishna. They're called the Naradamas, the lowest amongst mankind. They are fully absorbed in fruitive activities. the senses. They won't think anything. They're agnostic. They said there's no God. It's just all made up by weak people to control others. Religion, like Karl Marx was saying, religion is opiate of the people. It's an opium. It's just a clutch that you hold on to because you're not doing well. Or those who are very envious, who are very sinful, they will never surrender. Very hard for them to surrender. But even out of these four, they're considered to be very pious, whatever the reason. And in the purport, Prabhupada quoted Kama Sava Kama Va Moksha Kama Udaradi Tirena Bhakti Yogena what's the last time? Yajita Purusham Param. That it doesn't matter what our desires, whether we're distressed, we're looking for wealth, we have a material motivation to approach Krishna. Doesn't matter. We may we have full of material desire. We may have a desire for liberation, or we sincerely have a desire to find God. That's okay. You are considered to be intelligent if you approach Krishna to fulfill those desires. So therefore, these four classes, although they're material desire, when they are material motivation to approach Krishna, they're considered to be pious, religious. But in the next verse, Krishna explained, out of all these four, the one who is actually seeking for knowledge is the best. Now why? If you get distressed, after you take shelter of Krishna, you feel protected. You feel sheltered. You're free from the sufferings of the material world. Then feeling comfortable, sometimes we forget that we are feeling comfortable because we're under the shelter of Krishna. Then you think, I don't need Krishna anymore. I can go back to the material world. Is it? It's like we are getting wet from the rain. Suddenly someone bring an umbrella, and we're under the umbrella. And after a while, we're feeling dry. Oh, the rain has stopped. I don't need this umbrella anymore. I can go back outside there. Then you leave the shelter of the umbrella, and we get wet. In the material world, we think I can take shelter of my job. I can take shelter of my bank balance. I can take shelter of my investment, my businesses, my family, so on and so forth. But these are false shelter. And Prahlad said, now this kind of shelter is false. It's only in the mind we think we are sheltered. Imagine when it's raining, you go out. Someone said, I'll get an umbrella. I said, no, I have an umbrella here. And you imagine you have an umbrella. You walk out. Will that keep you dry? You'll get wet. So Durashaya is false shelter that we take. And in the beginning of Bhagavad Gita, Shukadev Goswami explained that this is actually fallible soldiers. I remember when I first came to Europe, I spent 1 year in Germany, hanging out in all the discotheques. And every Friday evening, you have the GI soldiers came, and we get to know them. And we found out that many of them are into drugs. And if it's a Friday evening, Saturday evenings, many of them will be high in drugs or drunk. And I thought, if the Warsaw Pact were to attack at that time, the soldiers don't even know where to point the guns because they're so high or they're so drunk. But everyone is thinking, oh, American soldiers are here, all the weapons are here, we are protected against Warsaw Pact. Fallible soldiers. So similarly, we think, but when we get sick, seriously sick, or we're dying, can you give me an extra 5 minutes to live or 1 hour to live? I can write you a check or I can transfer, make my, Swish. I use the Swish account to transfer 1 million or 10 million krona to you. Doctor said cannot. All the money in the world cannot buy you the extra time. The family, they are just standing there helpless, just crying, make you feel even worse. So none of all these possessions that we have can protect us. But only Krishna can give us shelter. So therefore, that if we come out of this distress, we have to move on. The reason for coming to Krishna is fine, it's okay. But we have to move on and try to understand who Krishna is, why we are serving Krishna, and why we need to surrender to Krishna, and how Krishna is actually giving us protection, and how Krishna is reciprocating us with our love. He's not partial. As we surrender to Krishna, Krishna rewards us accordingly. You put 100 krona in the bank, you're going to get back 100 krona. You're not going to get more. But of course, nowadays you put it in the bank, you get back less. They have this fee, that fee, every month they deduct some fee from your account. And you actually get back less. They give you maybe 0.5% interest in the saving account. So that's how Krishna is reciprocating. He's not been partial, that you give more or less to others. He's just rewarding everyone what they are entitled to. Same thing, we come Krishna for wealth. But when our financial situation improves, don't try to increase our spending. In general, that's what people do. Actually, social psychologists have studied, or social scientists study, that people usually spend 5 or 10% more than what they earn. The wealthy people who became wealthy, they spend 10% or 20% less than what they earn. They save the money for rainy days and they invest. The poor, they spend and then they will save the rest. But generally there's nothing left to save. But the wealthy mindset, they save and invest, and then they spend the rest. That's the difference. So after one becomes financial stable, doesn't mean you're going to spend more. Oh, I'm getting a promotion. My salary is going to increase. Now we start thinking, how are we going to spend this extra money? Maybe I should change the car. I should get a Tesla. Right? More fancy car. I can afford it because my salary is increased. Now I can start planning my holiday. And so on. Just spending how to spend all the money. But instead of increasing our spending, when we earn more, give more. Give to Krishna for service. Not spending more. What difference would it make? You drive one fancy car compared to another fancy car. After 1 month, 2 months, 3 months, you just another car. And you start looking for the newest car. You start looking around when I'm going to buy a new car. No? When does it end? So therefore again, when Krishna rewarded us, we should show our appreciation that it's Krishna who is giving us this reward. He's taking care of me. He's providing me with what I have. My success is because of him. Develop the higher understanding. Same thing in inquisitiveness, like these two secret agents, undercover police. They became devotees. No? From inquisitive, they develop knowledge. And by the knowledge, they surrender to Krishna. So we all need to progress. Whatever our starting point is fine. Whatever reason we come to Krishna, that's fine. But if we want Krishna to reciprocate with us with love, then we have to show our love. We have to show our love to him by our service attitude. By the way we worship the holy name. When we chant, Prabhupada told us how the attitude we should have when chanting. He said we should chant Hare Krishna like a child crying for the mother. Who is the mother? Who has kid? You. Yeah. Do you still remember when your child was a little child? So when the child is sleeping on the bed in the cot, taking an afternoon nap or whatever, and you're busy with your household work in the kitchen, the baby wake up and it cry, The mother look, okay, it's okay, I can still continue. Then when the baby is not getting attention, they start to, every now and then make some sound. The mother, okay, not serious yet. And then the child is really getting upset. I'm hungry. Why is my mother not coming to feed me? Starts screaming at the top of her voice. The mother, okay, serious. They drop everything and take care of the baby. So when we chant Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna, Krishna thing, is he calling me? No, he's not. He's not seriously calling me. So Krishna don't pay so much attention. But when you Hare Krishna, like crying out Hare Krishna, wow, this devotee is really serious. Then he appear. My dear devotee, what can I do for you? So when we approach Krishna with that kind of attitude of full surrender, Krishna will reciprocate back with us. So much so Krishna can talk to us. You know about this devotee helping an older Brahmana from his village to go pilgrimage in Vrindavan. And this old Brahmana was so pleased with the young Brahmana. He said, I'm very pleased by your service. I'll offer my daughter to you in marriage. And the young Brahmana said, how can you do that? You come from a very respectable Brahman family. I'm just a very poor family. He said, no, I'm the head of the family. I'll decide. But what about your family member? He said, I'll decide. He said, okay, you're so sure, let's make a promise before Gopal deities. And then Gopal, now, okay, you bear witness to this promise by the Brahmana to me that you offer his daughter to me in marriage. If necessary, I'll come and ask you to be the witness. So they went back, and the older Brahma was thinking, how am I going to give this news to the family member? And finally, he gathered the family member and said, actually, on pilgrimage, I offered my daughter to the marriage of this Brahmana. The son became upset, the wife became upset, everyone became upset. The wife said, how can you marry our daughter to this poor Brahmana? And he said, he will do that, I'm going to kill myself. And the older Brahmana was in a dilemma, what should I do? I make a promise. But the son said, don't worry. You just pretend that you don't forget. Let me handle everything. So when the young Brahmana came to make the claim, they chased him out of the house. Then the son called all the elders in the village to come to bear witness. He said, this young Brahmana was traveling with my father. I don't know what kind of herbs he gave to my father, make him sick, and then cheated him to make a promise to give our daughter. How can we give our daughter to this poor Brahmana? No, it's different status. And the young Brahmana said, no, you can ask the older Brahmana. Older Brahmana just kept quiet. So I can understand he's under pressure of the family that he cannot say anything. So, but we have a weakness. Lord Gopal H.G is our weakness. And the son said, because it's in the 80s, he said, oh, okay, if you can bring Gopal here, you can bear witness, then we'll marry our daughter to you. Because he's thinking that there's no way you can bring Gopal. So, okay. So he went and appealed to Gopal. He said, the Brahmana, for me, marry or don't marry, it doesn't matter. But I want to keep the honor of the older Brahmana because of the pressure from his family breaking his promise. Now it's a Brahmana. Brahmana is true to their word. They make a promise, they keep it. So we need you to bear witness. And Krishna spoke back. He said, okay, you take this, you go back and you tell them. You can bring them here. He said, no, that's not going to work. You have to come with me to the village to be the witness. And Krishna and Gopal said, oh, how can a deity walk? And the young Brahman said, if you can talk, you can walk. And Krishna was defeated. He said, okay, I'll walk behind you. But he said, how do I know? He said, every day you just offer me a morsel of food. Right? I'll walk behind you. But how do I know you're following me? But you say you cannot turn back. Right? Then how do I know you're following me? So you know that I'm following you by the tinker bell on my feet. So they started walking, and Gopal started walking, following behind, tinker bell, walking. As they reached the outskirts of the village, the Brahman wanted to be sure that Gopal was there. He turned around, and Gopal was standing there, standing still, not moving anymore. Because he said, you cannot turn back. As soon as you turn back, I will stand still. He said, now you go and call the village here. And all the village came. Even the son was amazed. How Gopal walked all the way there just to bear witness. So Krishna can reciprocate with the devotees by talking to them. He can do whatever. Because the form, he can appear any form. He may be very, very far away, at the same time very near. He can far away in Goloka, but he's also in our heart. If he wants to appear before us, it doesn't matter how many millions of kilometers is away, he can appear before us instantly. So that is the Supreme Personality of God. And why? That is why Srila Prabhupada, he makes so much effort every night. Doesn't matter where he travels. There's no jet lag for him. He sleep maybe 2 hours, 3 hours, and then we'll wake up 12 o'clock, 1 o'clock, and start translating. When any city you go to, everyone is deep asleep during the time, 2, 3 o'clock, best time to sleep. And Prabhupada will be up translating, giving us the Srimad Bhagavatam, giving us the Chitta Charitamrita, the translation and the purport to explain it. So this is a gift that Srila Prabhupada gave us. And we should be gracious to receive that gift. Just like we may come to in front of Prabhupada and pray, Ashirvad, blessing. Please give me a blessing. Please give me a blessing. Prabhupada is already giving the blessing, given all these books. So when he's giving his blessing, are you going to take it? Just like if a very senior preacher or the sannyasi or guru come and he's distributing cookies. He's giving his blessing in the form of cookies. Are you going to come forward to accept it? Who would come forward to accept it? If he's coming giving you cookies. No? Nobody will accept it? Then you want the Swami to eat all the cookies himself? Yes. We all want the blessing. Right? And so similarly, Prabhupada is giving us a blessing. The books. Are we receiving it? Do we have it at home? You have. You have what books do you have? You have Bhagavad Gita?
Yeah.
You have Srimad Bhagavatam set? The whole set?
Yeah.
Chitta Charitamrita?
Yes.
Are you reading it?
Not so good.
So you have accepted it, but you have not fully received it. It's waiting for them. It's like, I'm giving you a present in a nice box. So you have accepted the box of present, but you have not opened the present yet. Right? So open the present and find out what is in there. So this is what we need to do. We have to receive the gift that Prabhupada gave us and appreciate it. You get a prasadam?
It is not offered yet. Maybe I can something else.
Yeah. So this way again, this is how Krishna is reciprocating with us in so many different ways, according to the desire of the devotee, according to how we are engaging with him. Krishna is reciprocating. The more we surrender, the more Krishna will hold our hand and guide us. So you want to go fast to Krishna, Krishna will provide different ways. Sometimes the way he provides is not the easy way. He can give a very hard way. He can put a very big obstacles on your path. He can completely uproot you. And you know why? Because when your situation completely uprooted, when you strip of everything, and you take it as Krishna's mercy and accept it, that's when transformative changes take place. It's not gradual change anymore. The change is transformation. It's called transformation. You completely transform to a different person. So therefore, mature devotee who have this kind of understanding, they embrace it when Krishna provides difficulties for them. When they're faced with difficulties in their life, they just embrace it. They're not afraid of it. They said, this is Krishna coming to me, giving this opportunity for me to really surrender more to him and experience the bliss of Krishna consciousness by that surrender. But we understand all these things by reading Prabhupada's books and practicing it. That's how we understand it. Okay, so in here, thank you very much. Maybe there's one or two questions. No question means understood. Understood means act. That means you have heard.
We want to thank you, Ciranjiv Prabhu, for this wonderful reminder for surrender. It's too often in the course of the material life, we, if not forgetting, we are deviating a little bit from the path of Krishna consciousness. And we need, and I think I will express everybody's opinion here, we need these sort of reminders to keep us on this inner path, on the path to Krishna. Thank you very much, Prabhu.
That's why Prabhupada encourages us to always regularly read this book, attend classes. Even if we have heard it many times, you always pick up something there. Like here's a revelation. I'll just say and then take a question. I've heard. What does I've heard means? I hear you. If I tell you that, open the door. And they're just still sitting there. And I raise my voice, open the door. So you don't have to shout, I heard you. No, you have not heard me. Because you're still sitting there. You're not opening the door. I say open the door. You're not opening the door, so that means you have not heard me. You understand what I mean? So heard means, yes, I heard and I act. If you're not acting, that means you have not heard. You just go in and out. Right? So we hear, then we have to pick something up, consider it and apply, see how we can apply that in our life. That's proper hearing. That's called active hearing. Yeah.
I want to make a little note that in the young days I read a lot of literature. And after a while you start to understand, you start to see the difference in the categories of literature. And there are books which you read once and you do not want to read it anymore. There is no use. It didn't help you. Maybe draw your attention for half an hour and 1 hour, and that's it. Better books you read maybe twice. Better books still you read many times. Bhagavad Gita specifically, whenever I open it, it's the same, about 700 verses. And every time you open it, and it's something new. It's so incredibly amazing.
Yep. Doesn't matter how many times you read it.
Yeah,
Same thing with Srimad Bhagavatam.
even more.
I will make a comment. Yesterday, there was a funeral of the Pope in Rome. You know, he died, and it was the biggest funeral ever. You know, so many dignitaries, Trump and all these presidents, everybody was there, and all these sacred men, cardinals and everything. They were so stiff, and they're so religious and everything, and they, talk about God. And then I was watching, live from Amsterdam, King's Day, that Kadamba Kanana, he was doing for many years. We were walking through Amsterdam, having Harinam on King's Day. So I watched that too, and the people there on the King's Day, they go crazy about Krishna's name, I mean, they're so in contact. Everybody's go crazy. But there, on the, on the place where he was, funeral, they're all so stiff and like, where is their God? It's only a God for them. They don't know him. But we are going crazy for Krishna. So it's such a big contrast. It's really crazy how in love we get with Krishna.
So therefore I encourage everyone here to make a commitment to yourself. Every day pick up Bhagavad Gita or Srimad Bhagavatam. Every day. Pick it up, read something. Every day. Even if you cannot read more, eat one slok. Eat one verse. Even if 5 minutes, 10 minutes, half an hour, 1 hour, doesn't matter.
We have every Monday evening that we have a Bhagavad Gita course with Jivakesh in Alvik.
Yeah.
It's very good.
What you can be doing also, sometimes you can have like a Gita reading. A Gita reading group. Either you can do it in Zoom, or here you have a very nice place. Then come together, a few people just read. And then each one take turns and say something. You have something to add, you say. If nothing, you just sit and listen. And if something to discuss, you don't understand, write it down. Then Sunday feast come, you ask a question. So because when you're doing together, it's easier to read, and because when we read Bhagavad Gita, we all have different, we pick something different up. Like even this class, you all pick up something different from it, right? So we can share all the different viewpoints, and that will expand our understanding of the subject matter.
That is one way, but it's also very wonderful to sit at home and read in, quiet and nice and read, I like that very much.
Yeah. Even sometimes I'm in a group and some very, very new devotee, a few months, 1 year, 2 years old, they say something, I say, okay, that's an interesting point.
Yeah.
I learned from someone very young too.
Yeah, of course, yes.
Because Krishna is in every heart, it's inspiring each devotee in very different ways.
In Melbourne temple, I listened many times, and there is one kid there, like maybe 12, 13 years old, very good mind, and he always asks questions to the speaker, and it's really intelligent questions, I really envy this kid. I wish I was that intelligent.
All right, shall we end here? Shri Prabhupada ki jai. Shri Krishna Prasanta Shrimati Javadashram Namachavataya Nitya Kripana Gorakata Dhamananda Gamda. How are you going?
All right. You?
Nice to see you.
Where you are now?
Huh?
You are.
I was with Lochan.
Yeah.
He dropped me off, and now I'm going back to him after the class.
You are.
Going back to Lund.